Oh, we got his ass now. We got his ass now. You ready, bitch? Bitch, I'm ready.
Hello everyone, I have returned from my cave of depravity and modding to bring Sephiroth's Endgame to light. Or at least what I think it is. I cannot wait to look back on this video in another 2 or 3 years and go,
that one didn't age quite so well.
But my ramblings are motivated by what the latest games have given us, as well as the ones that have come before it. As of now, Final Fantasy VII is 27 years old, and yes, that did hit me in my mortality. That is 27 years of character and theme exploration.
Don't worry about Aerith. Protecting the subject is part of the surveillance.
5 years later.
And a few retcons. The remake developers are made of both members that are new to the world building as well as the original masterminds to bring us something new with a familiar face, done as a means to be faithful to what has come and what is yet to come. Because of that, there were a lot of twists and turns in the original that may have landed well with a new audience, but nothing but nostalgia for the original players. So the team decided to create a different spin on the story to add new mystery to a near 3-decade series. That leaves us asking some big questions for this trilogy of remake games. Questions like, what the fuck is all this? What are these whispers? Are they really a metaphor for the FF7 purists being pissed the game isn't a one-to-one remake? Why are important characters and story points locked behind a damn mobile game? Is Aerith dead or alive? Is anyone alive? What the fuck is the edge of creation? And why the hell are you against making money, Square? If you gave us the ability to buy costumes for the characters or let us import skins from Ever Crisis into the remake games, I would just be throwing money at you. I don't need food as much as I need this Christmas costume for Tifa and Rebirth. So yeah, we fans are left picking up the breadcrumbs in order to make the full loaf of bread that is the Remake Trilogy. I don't think this metaphor works, but perhaps I can answer all these questions by attempting to answer the question that was posed in the first Rebirth teaser trailer. What is Sephiroth's Endgame? Well, I hope you watched my Everything You Need to Know series. Please? I made all that not only as a way to get all the information out of my head, but as a means to pose a theory discussion. This video stemmed from the ending of the first part of The First Soldier in Ever Crisis. In the part 2 video of my Everything series, I talked about Team Glenn from their initial drop into the Redor archipelago all the way up to them committing genocide of the Redoran people. Since then, more episodes have come out. In summary, Sephiroth lost an amulet of his mother's that he kept on his person. While the team searches for it, the livestream is having a conniption and beginning to unleash havoc on the islands. Mako excavation has triggered the eruptions and Team Glenn is ordered to evacuate, but Glenn wants to save Rosen, so he punches the engineer in charge of the site and steals a helicopter to get to Rosen. It's here where Sephiroth shows his loyalty not to Shinra, but to his new companions that he considers friends. This is important to Sephiroth's endgame, I promise. Team Glenn reaches Rosen, but Rosen insists on staying because he needs to warn the other Redorans to evacuate. A really awkward moment occurs where they have to tell Rosen that the Redorans have become extinct by their hands. Rosen proceeds to go through the 5 stages of grief, beginning with denial and anger. He runs off to the flume stack in a desperate attempt to fulfill his purpose. The island is being torn apart, and Team Glenn are cut off from Sephiroth, who offers to find Rosen. Upon arrival, he begs Rosen to come with them and start a new life. Rosen states, "There is no place for me in your world." They both know that Glenn and the others won't leave without Rosen, but Rosen wants to be with his people. In order to save the people Sephiroth has ever cared about, he must kill the person that they care about. Rosen is struck down as Glenn and the others arrive to see Sephiroth's handiwork. The amulet Sephiroth lost is carried through the lifestream and drops down in front of them, and Glenn kicks it back into the lifestream due to his anger at Sephiroth. But don't worry, Refu escapes with them all. After this, we then go forward in time 10 years during the mass desertion in Soldier, the inciting incident for the events of Crisis Core. Glenn is working with Wutai and Avalanche and attacks Sephiroth. Before Sephiroth can let loose a fireball, Refu comes over to stop the fight. Glenn tells Sephiroth that an attack is headed for Shinra's forces and that they need to retreat from the area they're in. He also apologizes for kicking Sephiroth's amulet. So here is where my theory senses began to tingle. During this chapter, we follow Sephiroth as he fights to the point of exhaustion, just to save as many troopers as he possibly can. Keep in mind that he has been a hero to these people for the past 10 to 11 years. And he lives up to that title because he genuinely cares about his comrades and their lives. He has the power to protect them. So maybe he fights so hard to protect life because there are moments in his life when he couldn't. After saving the day, we are shown a cutscene of Sephiroth being praised by the very lives he helped save. Then gets a glitching episode similar to Cloud. Here he is then teleported to the edge of creation. From this, I believe the reason Sephiroth is here is because he is reliving his past, going through the memories that he had once lost, the memories he relinquished when he was killed by Cloud. I talk about this in part 7 of my series, but TLDR, the lifestream is comprised of streams of memories as stated in the beginning of Ever Crisis, and Sephiroth relinquished a majority of his memories and made the core of his being about Cloud to avoid becoming a part of the lifestream at the times of his defeat, which was stated in the novel On the Way to a Smile. Now, before some of you push up your elitist anime gamer glasses and talk about how a spin-off book shouldn't be considered as part of this discussion, there are a lot of excerpts and parts in these books that have been written to bolster the story of Advent Children and even the new remake games, as they were written by the scenario writer Kazuhige Nojima, who has written almost everything Final Fantasy VII, from OG to the remakes. The only exception is The Maiden Who Travels the Planet by Benny Yatsuyama, which was deemed non-canon, but everything else still stands. And I think the story of The First Soldier is entirely about Sephiroth getting his memories back. But to what purpose? Well, as a motivation for stopping death as we know it. Let me explain. In Rebirth, there is a moment when Sephiroth takes Cloud through the splintering worlds within the lifestream. There is a wonderful video by Joshiepoo who talks about the splintered worlds being dreams of the planet taken from the lifestream. It's a good video, you should check it out.
You're wrong. It's not that you're dreaming.
No, you go away, you're not part of this! But I do disagree with him stating that Sephiroth is obsessed with having Cloud around because he is what is left of Sephiroth's humanity, and that he wants to keep Cloud around not to be alone if he can manage to unite these separate worlds. And I respectfully disagree for 2 reasons. Number 1, Cloud is the reason for Sephiroth's continued existence, both in universe and metaphysically, when you really think about it. I mean, Dissidia, Guys, World of Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, f***ing Smash Brothers. If one is there, the other is not too far behind. I'm getting a little off track. Cloud, for all intents and purposes, is a marvel. This guy has defied death on so many occasions and has defeated insurmountable odds. Fell off a bridge hundreds of feet in the air as a kid and walked away with only just a couple of cuts and bruises on his knees, yet has terrible motion sickness. Got stabbed in the chest and held up in the air, yet still mustered the strength to throw the strongest living being to his death because he was weakened by a stab wound that Cloud had given him via sneak attack. All of which before he received any Mako or Genova treatments. Sephiroth chose a perfect being to be his core anchor. If there is anyone to defy destiny, Cloud would most likely be the one to do it. Add Sephiroth's new powers after consuming the Whispers of Fate, the lifestream entities responsible for canon events to happen, and we have a recipe for remaking the world of Final Fantasy as we know it. Reason number 2. In Rebirth, Sephiroth explains what he's doing and what will happen as a result. The interaction is between Sephiroth and Aerith. I also need to point out that the lifestream is speaking through Aerith here. Now, is it the lifestream as an entity? Is it the Cetrans? Well, I think that it could be Aerith of the previous OG timeline chasing down Sephiroth through these splintered worlds. On the Way to a Smile, the excerpts Lifestream White make a point of Aerith keeping a watchful eye on Sephiroth as he was accumulating power to wreak havoc in Advent Children. In Lifestream White 3, it states that Sephiroth was too powerful for Aerith alone to face, so she had to use different methods to help her friends above. She considered doing something similar to what Sephiroth was doing with Kadaj, Laz, and Yazoo, but decided against it because, quote,
"Even if it were possible, I want to meet Cloud the way he knows me."
How better to do so than in her own body? Anyway, the interaction is as follows.
My dominion shall reach into infinity. It shall encompass worlds unbound by fate, and histories unwritten.
What do you mean?
My fragmented mother, these errant worlds, all shall be one again.
The reunion.
All made whole, forever.
There's no such thing as forever.
but there will be.
So Sephiroth wants to unite all these different worlds, and in these worlds, people who should be dead are still living. The worlds themselves usually don't last, as they are not the proper course of events. Now, of course, we can chalk this up as trying to seize ultimate power through these splintering worlds, considering he gets a lot of power from doing so. He's like Fu from the Dragon Ball Super Heroes shit, like Fu, and his dumb-looking face. But for the sake of argument, let's approach this with the concept of Sephiroth being genuine in what he is saying. Why would Sephiroth have a change of heart? When we are first introduced to Sephiroth in OG FF7, he was just a fallen hero, a fabricated monster under the guise of a man. He went mad after discovering he was a product of the Jenova project and decided to be the same monster Jenova was, eventually leading him to summon a meteor in an attempt to make a wound in the planet so large, the lifestream would attempt to repair it, and Sephiroth would reside in the core of that planet, sucking up all the lifestream, turning him into a god. In Advent Children, he wanted to be like Jenova, using the planet as a means to traverse the cosmos and become a world conqueror. So what changed? Well, a lot and not a lot. I think after his third defeat by Cloud, the planet either didn't know what to do with him, or perhaps something happened after the entirety of the lifestream was siphoned from the planet by Omega and then destroyed so that the lifestream could return to the planet. But Sephiroth resides somewhere in between, not in the lifestream nor living on the surface. He stated that he will never be a memory. He's referring to the lifestream as it is comprised of streams of memories. Somehow, someway, Sephiroth is sent to the edge of creation. Here is where I believe Sephiroth is reliving the memories he had relinquished, which we are now seeing in the first soldier. Which is why part 1 ends with perhaps the last time he likely saw Glenn alive, because in Rebirth, Rufus kills him by shooting him in the back. Wait a second, what happens to Refu?
On today's episode of How Fucked Up is Fucked Up. That's fucked up.
Until the series says otherwise, this is my headcanon. With this new perspective, Sephiroth has found himself missing the people he once cared about and doesn't want them to die. In part 1, it was Glenn, Matt, and Lucia, his first friends. Part 2 is still ongoing as of the making of this video. I just didn't want to wait until it was finished to at least just put this video out. It's focusing on how Sephiroth got his iconic sword Masamune, which was named after the master sword blacksmith Masamune. Future Gray put up a real-life Japanese history about Masamune. Pause if you want to read. And subscribe. Which, I'll be honest, I'm actually pretty happy for it. When you think about it, Masamune is way too overpowered for even Shinra to have manifested. Cloud even states it himself that Sephiroth is the only person who could wield it. But part 2 also covers the first time he met Angeal Hewley, the man who would be one of Sephiroth's closest friends and Zack Fair's mentor. And I have no doubt that the next part is going to show him meeting Genesis Rapsados, if we don't see him at the end of part 2. All of these people Sephiroth has cared for and has lost, if not by death, then by circumstance. But now he has a chance to change their fate. Everyone has a chance to change their fate. When you think about it, does everyone really need to die? The answer is yes. Life is the theme of Final Fantasy VII. Of course, you have your commentary on environment, industrialization, imperialism, and so on and so forth. But life is still tied to all of it. It always has been. Sephiroth wants everyone to live, and if his plan works, perhaps they can. But death is what gives life meaning. Nothing is forever. We as fans have always wanted to keep certain characters alive. My personal favorite is Zack Fair, my baby boy. And for some people, maybe you really do want Wedge to live if that's your preferred potato. But Aerith is the biggest one. You can literally ask any single person who's played the original Final Fantasy VII. All of us at one point perhaps tried to see if we can keep Aerith in the party, change her fate. There was this whole conspiracy thing about using tissues at her church because you see her for a brief second, all that jazz. So going into Rebirth, we all wondered if they were going to keep her alive or properly kill her off, especially since Zack survived his last stand against the Shinra army in Remake. In Rebirth, Cloud decided to save Aerith, which is exactly what Sephiroth wanted. And by doing so, it seems he created his own little world where Aerith lives. Now, I'm not 100% on this theory because I heard another one where it could be just Jenova messing with him. That's the beautiful thing about Rebirth's ending. It leaves a lot of open-ended questions. And Sephiroth wants Cloud on his side. If Cloud continues to stand against Sephiroth's reuniting of the worlds, he condemns Aerith to her fate.
Don't deny me. Embrace me.
That sounds a little gay, dude.
It is a little gay, dude.
As of the end of Rebirth, the confusion that is left to be cleared up is how Cloud's little pocket world, where he sees Aerith alive, can occupy everyone else's world, where Aerith is gone. And then there is the case of the hollow white materia and the black materia in Cloud's possession. I won't claim to have all the answers of where Aerith resides at the end of Rebirth, but I can say for certain that Sephiroth's plan is still undergoing. We only saw a taste of it at the end of Rebirth. It will certainly be a reunion that you don't want to miss. Thank you all so much for watching. This is my new format I'm trying out just to kind of see if I know how I like it. I just want to take this time to say thank you guys so much for the support over this past year. I was not expecting anywhere close to this amount of viewers, and we're, what, 110 subs as of me recording this away from reaching 1,000. So if we were able to get that within this last month, that would be, I think it's still impossible, but I'm happy for you guys to prove me wrong. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.